I'm Christy Hartman. Welcome back to my channel. You know, occasionally I like to gel print just for the pure joy of gel printing. And you know, every once in a while you have a little wake-up call. My 4-year-old grandson came to gel print with me. These are 3 of the prints that he completed. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, he kind of amazed me. His absolute 4-year-old joy of gel printing was infectious, and it also was a little bit of a wake-up call for me. So this is the first print he did, and if you can see how bright that is, he wanted bright colors. He didn't care if the paints worked together. He didn't care about the color wheel. He just cared about the pure joy of printing. This one was an orange print, and then he added pink and I think fluorescent orange to this one. I swear I did not guide him. He chose all of his own colors himself, and I thought his prints were gorgeous. But what I thought was really incredible was the pure, unadulterated joy that he had picking out his own colors and just doing what he felt like. And I thought, I need to do more of that because he had so much fun. I had so much fun as well. And these were a couple of the prints that you're going to see me print today. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a goal. I just sat down and started printing just for the joy and love of gel printing. My goal was to gel print completely without a purpose or a plan in mind. I wanted to layer up my prints and see where the process would take me. I decided to begin with anthraquinone blue and a natural sponge and develop this border around the outside edge of my gel plate. Next, I chose a few stencils from my stencil collection. These are 6 by 6 inch stencils and are, I believe, from Stencil Girl. And then I will also use a few stencils today that are just random stencils that I've had in my collection, for quite a while. Next, I decided to add in a little bit of grunge, and I decided to use Van Dyke Brown and this stencil, which is actually a pmartiststudio stencil called Wonky Net. I'm now using some gold, and this is just an old stencil that I've had forever. Time for a little bit of carbon black. I'm not going to add a lot of carbon black, but I am going to add some just to add that black little bit of interest. As many of you know, if you've watched my videos for a while, I love PBO paints, and I especially love these iridescent paints. And I decided that this pink and orange combination that my grandson favored as we were printing was actually gorgeous together, and I thought I would give it a shot and see how it went, and I did think it turned out beautifully. I decided to stick with the PBO paints, and I chose this blue-black color to go ahead and pull this print with. I have to say, I do think this was a beautiful print. That is a very, very interesting print. I really like it. Well, we're back to the PBO. And I decided to use that sponge once again to add that border to the outside edge of this gel plate. This is PBO Violet Blue, and it is my very favorite pink that I use. I'm now adding number 370, which is a fluorescent orange, and just adding some additional interest to this print. I'm going to use this high flow Quin Magenta to repeat the circle pattern, and then I'm going to pull this print with my open iridescent gold fine. Let's pull this print. Also, very, very interesting. It must be a fluorescent orange and violet blue day because I decided to reuse that same color combination for this print. This is on my 12 by 12 inch plate. I am going to repeat this circle pattern 4 different times on my plate, but reversing whether I'm using the positive or negative space on this stencil, just to give it a little bit of interest. Next, I'm going to use this iridescent red blue, and I'm going to go over the areas that I didn't print on each one of these by using, again, the positive and negative space on this stencil. And I actually think that this turns out really well. I'm curious to see what you think. It was a lot of fun. I chose to use the iridescent gold fine again in the open to pull this print with. And I really do think that this is a gorgeous print. I'm going to actually use this print in a future project that's going to come up. I know I said I was going to print with Wild Abandon of a 4-year-old, but you know, ideas just pop into your head. I'm going to begin this print by using again that pmartiststudio wonky net and the paint from PBO, the red blue. I'm adding a little bit of gold to this one, kind of around the edges too. And then in a moment you're going to see me pull out my Deco Art black, which is actually does not have a lot of shine to it. It's more of a matte paint. And I thought that was a nice contrast when you compared all of the iridescent paint that I've used, and then I added the matte feature with various portions of this Stencil Girl stencil. I'm going to pull this print with this iridescent green from PBO, and I love how the red and the green are contrasting colors, and it really makes for an effective print. This is my final print of this printing session, and I actually really enjoyed this, and I'm glad that my grandson made me feel like I needed to print without a purpose for a change, because I think this is good for the spirit and it's good for the soul. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this experimentation as much as I did, and I'll see you in my next video.